All right, all right, all right. Let me see if I can get this right. Welcome. Mic check, mic check. So welcome to Money Mondays with Ash Cash. Every Monday, live at 12 p.m. Let me make sure this thing is on and I can share it. Oh, let me get the other one up together. All right, mic check, mic check. Ahmad, thank you for joining. Appreciate you, sir. All right, so we're gonna start in just a second. Let me just share this video on my other pages so we could get the maximum. So it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, February 14th. So it's the hold on, sorry. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so it's the it's the holiday of lovers, and then so I want to talk about financial monogamy today, which is something that is I guess a lot of people don't necessarily talk about. And so, how do you know if you're in a relationship? How do you know if your partner is being financially monogamous? Are they cheating on you and your goals? Let's find out. All right, so tune in. Give me 1 second. Let me just share this on my other pages. Tune in now as we discuss financial monogamy. All right, so post. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to start in just a sec. Make sure you're sharing this video as well. Share this with your friends, your family. This is really important. All right, and let me just do this one thing as well. Go on face. We doubling it up today. So I have Facebook Live, but we are also about to go to Instagram Live. Double up there. All right. So how do you do this thing? All right. All right. So we're gonna go live. All right. So start the video. Lights turning off on me. Hold on for 1 second. Let me just make sure I turn the light back on. All right. So welcome. we got all types of technical difficulties happening. Excuse that. All right. So let's get this show on the road. I'm trying to do two things at one time, and this thing keeps falling. All right, hopefully it stays steady. If it doesn't, we're going to try something else. All right, so welcome to Money Mondays with Ash Cash, brought to you by Bank Mobile every Monday at 12 p.m., at 12 noon, and we talk about how, we give you advice on money topics, things that you need to know in order for you to become financially empowered. And so tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and with Valentine's Day as a holiday of lovers, a holiday where people profess their love to each other, and they do so by going out, buying gifts, doing things that monetarily show that you are embedded or you are committed to your loved one. But when you look at the studies that show that 30% of all divorces happen due to financial stress between couples. And so whether you are married, if you are in a committed relationship, if you are thinking about getting into a committed relationship, a lot of times finances is a big reason why people don't get to the next level. And whether it's finances from a standpoint of not being on the same page, one person wants to do one thing, the other person wants to do another thing, but just financially, are you a match with your mate? And I think that's an important question. I think a lot of people don't ask that question. They don't answer that question. It's a lot of the superficial stuff when you get into a relationship. It's really about sometimes attraction. Is the person attractive? Is this person stimulating from a conversational standpoint, maybe? But then as you start digging deeper, and then maybe on the surface, this person might have a good job. This person might be someone who is in a good trajectory, so they look like someone that's successful, and somebody that you want to begin to have a relationship with. But do you really know this person financially? Is this person being financially monogamous? And when I say financially monogamous, I don't mean necessarily are they using money to cheat on you physically or with someone else. I'm saying that if you and your partner have if you guys are in a relationship, are you being upfront about finances, right? Are you being upfront? Are you not hiding something as it relates to finances? Because, again, a lot of financial stress happens because people are not being honest. So what I want to do today is I want to give you 7 tips on how you can tell if your partner is cheating on you financially. And so the first step that I want to talk about is financial statements. Can you find financial statements? So if you are in a committed relationship and your partner, for whatever reasons, you can't find financial statements, then that is a sign that you may be being cheated on financially. And so, these are the beginning signs, right? When you start to see financial statements are missing, you can't find your recent, bank statements, credit cards, there's investments accounts, but you can't really find those statements. Also, a way that whoever's not being honest about the finances, a lot of ways that they hide that is if they go paperless, right? And then that's a normal thing to go paperless, but if in going paperless you don't have access to either the login information, either the email address that the statements are being sent to, if you just don't hear anything about your finances, then your mate, your partner may be financially cheating on you. And so at a minimum, you should be talking about finances once a month with your partner. And I'm talking married, I'm talking committed relationship. If you're dating, maybe not so. Like if you're dating and you guys still live your separate lives, then it's okay if you're not talking about joint finances, right? It's okay, but once you step over that hurdle, or once you step over that space of just talking about finances, or once you get over that space of just dating, and that you guys are really thinking about spending more time with each other, whether it's again a commit. And when I say committed relationship, I mean that you guys have agreed that it's just you and I, right? It's just you and that person. There isn't anybody else. It's not an open relationship. You guys have committed and said, hey, it's you, it's me. It doesn't necessarily have to be marriage, but if you guys are about to live together, if you're about to have children together, whatever it is that's going to make you commit, that's what I mean. And if you are not having a conversation about finances at least once a month, right? Not once a quarter, not in the beginning of the year, once a month, you should be talking about finances. If everything is all good, then everything is all good. That's the update. Oh, hey, everything is all good. Let's talk about finance. Everything's all good. But you should be having that conversation at least once a month. And so if that conversation is not happening, or if you can't find any financial statements, that's the first sign. Number two is if there are unexplained withdrawals or transfers from your account. So this is making the assumption that you guys have a joint account together. And if you have a joint account together and you start to look and you don't see, or you start to see unexplained withdrawals coming from the account, transfers coming from the account that cannot be explained, then your partner may be financially cheating on you, right? And then so this could be, a whole bunch of other reasons why this is happening. But again, if you see the withdrawals, the transfers happening in the account, they're not being explained, then you may have an issue. Number three is that you never talk about finances. If you're in a committed relationship with someone and you guys never ever talk about money, there's a problem, right? Because relationships, mind, body, and soul, but also finances, right? You want to be attracted to someone's mind. A body works as well, their soul works, but then in order to have a long-term relationship, finances has to be a part of that conversation. So if you guys are never ever talking about finances, then this may be a sign that your partner is financially cheating on you. And we're talking about healthy relationships, right? Because you may have a relationship and people may not never talk about it, but would I necessarily say you have a healthy relationship? If you and your partner never talk about money, I don't think it's a healthy relationship, especially because, in a relationship, it's about growth, right? But that growth should be together. And so, how are you going to make certain decisions? How are you going to talk about vacationing? How are you going to talk about spending more time together? How are you going to talk about, buying a house if you guys are going to live together, or renting, or all of what it takes to be in a relationship, or coexist together in a relationship. Finances plays a big part. Number four is, if you start seeing that your money questions are never answered directly, so you may ask questions to your partner about certain money things, and if you start realizing that those questions are not being answered directly, then I would say your partner may be financially cheating on you. they are not financially monogamous, right? Vagueness about money is definitely a telltale sign that something's being hidden financially. And so, having those type of conversations, and if those conversations are not being received well, then that could be an issue. Number 5, you never meet to discuss financial plans or your financial future. Right? Like if you're in a relationship and you guys never talk about your financial future, like you don't know, where you're going to be financially 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Like what's the goal? What's the financial goal? What's the goal as a family? You guys never talk about that? Never? Then there's a problem. There might be some, financial cheating, financial fooling around going on. Number 6, you guys don't have a joint savings account. And so here's the deal, right? I am for having separate accounts. I am for that. And so the reason for it is because you don't want to, in a relationship, you don't want to feel trapped, right? And so what happens is that I say that there should be a bill account that is together, where all of, as you do your budgets together, all of the money that is allocated towards bills go to that account. You should have a spending account separately. So your partner, you should have one, your partner should have a spending account that they have access to, that they can do whatever they want with their money. But then there should be a savings account that's joint. And I like to call it the financial freedom account, the emergency fund account, whatever you want to call it. But this account is specifically for how are you going to take yourself financially to the next level as a couple. And so if you don't have a joint savings account, then there's a problem, because there is possibly a need to save money or to hide money. And so that account should be joint. And when I say cheating on you financially, it might not necessarily be that they're doing something wrong. It might be that they don't trust you with money, right? It may be that they want to, they don't like the way you are handling money and they want to handle it different, right? But that's an issue because, again, as I stated earlier, 30% of divorces end because of financial issues, right? And so if you're not having these conversations up front, if you are not able to talk about it without someone getting defensive, if you're not able to have a joint account together, then you may be being cheated on financially. And then lastly, this is a telltale sign, right? If you and your spouse, you and your partner make enough money, but it always seems like it's not enough. Like when you look at, you're like, where's all this money going? I know we make enough money, but for some reason it seems like we're struggling. For some reason, it seems like we're living paycheck to paycheck. Like what's happening if you're in that situation where you are kind of struggling and living paycheck to paycheck, then you may be being cheated on financially. So let me give you a recap. And these are the 7 signs to tell if your partner is financially loyal or financially cheating on you. Number 1, you can't find any of your financial statements. Number 2, there are unexplained withdrawals and transfers from your account. Number 3, you never talk about finances. As a couple, you never talk about finances. Number 4, your money questions are never answered directly. They're vague or abrasive. That's another thing, right? Like if they get annoyed every time you ask about money, that could be a sign as well. Number 5, you never meet to discuss your plans or financial future. Number 6, you don't have a joint account. And number 7, you make enough money, but it seems to be not enough. Those are the signs. So make sure, and this is your assignment. This is your assignment, right? You need to, if you're in a committed relationship, and I don't want to wait till the 15th. Don't do this tomorrow, because I don't want nobody breaking up and nobody getting mad at me because they went and started talking about money the day before Valentine's Day. Wait, don't do it tomorrow. Wait till Wednesday, February 15th. This is your assignment. If you're in a committed relationship, make sure that all of those things I talked about is not happening, right? Make sure that you know where all the financial statements are. 1, 2, make sure that y'all having the conversations about money. 3, make sure that you have a joint savings account. 4, make sure that you know where all the money is going, that there isn't a money leak somewhere that you don't know of. And the reason why I say that is because being in this space for a very long time, this financial planning space, this financial education space, financial abuse is a real thing. And what that means is, let's say if only one person controls the finances, that is a big issue that if someone wanted to take advantage and be abusive, right? Physically, mentally, if they control the money, then that could really be an issue that can hold people in relationships. So you want to make sure that you're having this conversation. And if there is any issue, if your partner is saving all the money so they could dodge, you want to know that. If your partner doesn't really have any real thought or real plans of staying with you long term, you want to know that, right? Like if y'all don't talk about financial future, if y'all don't talk about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like if y'all don't have those conversations, then what are you doing? Are you just coexisting? Like, do you know what your 5-year, 10-year trajectory is? If y'all not having those conversations, then what are you doing? So don't do it tomorrow. Wait till February 15th, have that conversation and find out these things, because finances are very important. Financial stress can be alleviated if you're focusing on it proactively. So that's it. I am Ash Cash. Let's see who's on here. I'm doing Facebook Live and Instagram Live. So let's see what our comments are. Ahmad, thank you for joining as always. I'm on my Facebook first. We got Kendra. Thank you for joining, Kendra. Bogdan. Financial statements, paperless login, unexplained withdrawals. We appreciate you. How do you initiate those types of conversations? That's a great question. It's really about I would start off with financial goals, right? Like I would definitely start off with asking about financial goals. So like, hey babe, like, what's our financial goals, right? Like if you don't know that together, then, maybe asking about financial goals, maybe saying, hey, it's a good thing if we start talking about or start thinking about, our long-term financial goals, right? Like what are we looking to do? I would start there. I would start with that conversation because it's an easier conversation instead of just saying, hey, why don't I have access to the statements, right? You don't want it to be combative. Why don't we ever talk about money? Like it doesn't have to be that. It could definitely start off with a conversation about your finances and your financial future, and then once you have that conversation about finances and financial future, then you could begin to say, okay, now, right, this is what our plans are. So what are the actionable steps are we having? Right. And in order to get those actionable steps, you need to find out how much money is in the different accounts. You need to find out, where the money is, what the plans are. So that's how that conversation starts. So appreciate that question. What else? All right. We got, that's the questions. All right, cool. I appreciate you guys. Let me go to Facebook Live. Let me see. I'm not in a relationship, but what if your partner doesn't want a joint account? Then leave them. No, I'm joking. To each his own, right? So thank you, Ahmad, for that question, right? It's just my personal opinion. I know people who have relationships who do not have joint accounts. I know that. I've sat with couples and they prefer to keep it separate. They prefer to, your money pays these bills, my money pays this bill, and we're just going to live that way. I think personally and this is my opinion, is that is a setup for financial disaster. If you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, you are functioning as one. And so if that person's handling their end of the finances, you're handling, their end of the finances, you're not in a relationship. That's your roommate. Like that ain't your partner. Partner means like you sharing, like you doing things together. And so if things are separate, that ain't your partner. That's your roommate. And so there has to be a cohesiveness. Like if you run a company, there's a CEO and there's a COO, right? They do different things, but they have to constantly communicate with each other, right? The chief executive officer may be the person who's like the top of the food chain, but the chief operating officer is just as important because they're the person that helps the ship go. The chief financial officer is important. The chief marketing officer is important. Like these are all parts of a company. Sometimes the chief executive officer might do more than one role depending on the side of the company, but these things are roles that have to happen. So having a joint account is similar. It's a role that has to happen in order for you to, be in a space that you're being healthy about your finances. So yeah, thank you, Amar, for that question right there. And all right, so that is it. That is our time. I appreciate all the questions. If you have any questions for me, make sure you send me an email. Appreciate you. Make sure you send me an email at ashcash@bankmobile.com if you have any questions. Make sure you tune in every Monday at 12 p.m. Money Mondays with Ash Cash, brought to you by Bank Mobile, an all-digital bank that is giving you a financially empowering experience. So make sure you check us out, bankmobile.com. Thank you for so much for everybody who tuned in. I am Ash Cash. I will speak to you guys next week, same time, same place. Thank you.